of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. My name is Fakir Aziz, and sitting with me is my brother Adam Hanif Salim. Pleasure to be with you. And of course, Lord Holy Apostle Dean Salim, our esteemed panelists, off camera, as well as our esteemed Holy Queen Mother, Rabia Salim. May I use this peace and other blessing be within and about your presence. Yes. Very interesting title. We're going to go into an interesting subject that Holy Queen Mother shared with us, gave to us. That's misconceptions. The misconception of the universal religion of truth. If I just may interject and go with this, because it's interesting. I'm looking at articles. Mother, about these attacks that's going on in the Pakistan, as a matter of fact, in the Mideast. And you have these Muslim organizations that were attacking. A matter of fact, set off a bomb at a pilgrimage site for these Sufi Muslims. The Sufi Muslims that's over there in Pakistan.
So they're fighting against them?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And according to the newspaper account, they're saying that these people perform heresy, but that was the newspaper account's perception. So why?
What's heresy?
Heresy. Looking up is to go against the established way of religion. Anyone who goes against the established way of religion. So at one time, certainly Jesus was a heretic, and Muhammad was a heretic, and Moses was a heretic, because
by the
standards
right
of the established religion.
Wow. You considered a heretic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why people say we got a cult, and I'm a cultist, and a lot of the little labels that they put on me, saying that I'm off from the way. But like I say, if they talking about a cult represents a religious organization or institution that has broken off from the mainstream of the religion. So the greatest cults that I know are all the so-called paths of the religion. The Hadithites and broke off from the way of Muhammad, but they call themselves Muslims. Just like you talking about them attacking the mystics of Islam, those who are more involved in spirituality of Islam, that the common people don't understand, and that's why they would say they're heretics. And Christianity, which broke off from the way of Moses and mixed with the way of the sun worshippers of Rome. And what have you, and they call it Catholicism and Christianity, something that Jesus didn't know. And then the mixing or the falsehood of mixing Jesus' name with Christ, like calling Muhammad Allah, in which they call Jesus Christ. Christ and Allah is the same thing, which most people don't know, but because they've broken off from the mainstream, and they are a great cultist group. Even though they're 2,000 years old with billions of followers. You know what I mean? Moses, nor Jesus, nor John, nor Israel, none of them would recognize Christianity. They wouldn't recognize what they say about Jesus. They wouldn't recognize what they say about him inheriting heaven and being the only begotten Son of the Lord. They all cursed that when they said that Isis was the mother God of Horus, the sun god, the son of God. The same way they said Jesus is the son of God and Mary is the mother of God. They said the same thing thousands of years before Jesus. That's where they got it from. So they're all cultists. But see, whenever Allah in the name of Allah, or Amen, and even the name of Allah, that's not the proper name for Allah, for the Lord. It's El-Ah, the Ah, or Al-Ah. That that but things have gotten confused through the years, through time, and now they've brought those conjunctive words together and called El-Ah, the breath of life, Allah. And they don't tell you that Allah is a conjunctive word, but the Hebrews, they try to hide it by the use of El. But if you look in the real old Bibles, you'll see its name clearly. E-L-A-H or E-L-A-A-H or E-L-O-A-H, which is El-Ah. They know. The great jinn, the great, hidden ones, they know. They know the truth. And they know that what I speak is not a cultist thing. It's a thing that's bringing the cults or the cultist thinkers back to the mainstream of the truth. See, no matter what people do, the Lord El-Ah is going to always bring back its word because it demands that its words be followed. And if it don't bring its words back to mankind and do what these so-called Muslims, the Hadithites say that it will not do, saying that Muhammad was the final messenger from the Lord, but that no man will ever speak to mankind again, if Allah do that, then it wouldn't be just and merciful when it judge us, because in times to come, how would any of us know that we should be worshiping Allah alone? That it is El and Ah and Hu, like it says in the Holy Quran. Hu and Allah is one and the same. Not He is Allah, the one, but Hu and Allah is one and the same. The independent. The eternal. See, that we always knew from way back when that it was the infinite, that it is the infinite living mind. It is something, the closest we could say about it is it's a mind. We can't really give it no other description because it manifests in thoughts. And its thoughts is its power. And its worlds are mental. And it creates by its mind. And manifests by its mind. That's why it didn't say, I will make this world. It said, I said be. I thought, exist. I told it, exist, be. And it is. It was immediately. And they say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? That's like saying what came first, the mother or the child.
When we say that, we're saying that that's something that we can't grasp.
Nobody can grasp that because when it created the world, it said be. There's no record of when the angels began. Now, there's a record when man began, but we don't have it on earth no more. But it is known in the heavens. And if it was to tell me to tell you or tell any other messenger to tell you, nobody would believe it. It's not necessary to be known now. All we know is that we are. And then we should submit to that which is our power, our Lord, our reality,
So, go ahead.
A huge misconception about the universal religion of truth that I see nowadays is that like the different sects, like the culture set of the religions that went away from the main path, they all believe that they're worshiping a different God. Like the Christians believe that the God they call God is different than Allah, who the Muslims worship. And I believe the Jews believe that they would worship a different God. The ones that are common believe they worship a different God than those. And they all believe that they're praying to different gods and that the other religion doesn't believe in God.
Let me say this here. If you don't mind me laughing first at the great joke. First of all, nobody knows better than the Jews. And nobody hides better than the Jews. And they have allowed the Muslims to disconnect El and Amen from Yahuwah, from Hu, that which Moses spoke to. and spoke about. They allowed them to do that to disconnect them from their religion, from their power base. You know? They know, they won't even call Allah's name. They won't even honor it. They say YWAH, or YHWH rather. You know? Saying they don't know what the last H is, but who told them not to recognize Allah? Did Moses say, oh, you're not even worthy of calling this name because you turn away to worship the golden calf again? Why is it that they won't call Hugh's name? Why would they say it is too great that his name, we can't even call his name? Do you mean that you're too evil to be calling his name? Or you just don't want to recognize his name? Because you know that his name is not God. You had more prophets come to you than any people today that's still around. And A.H.A.D, Allah said it in the name of Allah in the Holy Quran, that I have favored you more than any other people. Huh? And giving them the word of truth. And you know Muhammad like you know your own sons. No, he's telling the truth. But they allowed the Muslims to mistranslate the 112th chapter to say that he, knowing that Allah never said itself it was he, because he would be taking away the she. It is Allah. You and Allah is one and the same. Huh? It is A.H.A.D, the one. A.H.A.D. And it is noon, that which is to be recognized as the reality, as the beer, as the existent one of realness in all our lives. Huh? And that we are illusions of its reality. We are manifestations of its elusive reality of creativity. That we have no life without it. We have no being without it. We like less than or equal to a artist painting. The artist paints, and if it stopped painting, that's where it's done. As we are being done, wherever A.H.A.D Allah stop, that's where we're done. You know? Yeah, because it is our doer, our reality, and people don't want to recognize that. You know?
Well, it ain't funny. But just the news that Pakistan would go and kill
Muslims.
Yeah. You know, it again sends that negative wave that keeps them under the radar of scrutiny and having people judging them in the way that they're judging them. The whole thing is Allah says so clearly in Quran, it makes things very clear, simple. It said to you be your way and to me be my way. All this fighting going on and people thinking that they have the right way, Allah said leave them. Mm-hmm. I will be the judge at the end. Right. You know? Yeah. But people disregard that. But they say they Muslim, but see, that's the trick of that word, Muslim. We have to really pay attention to how that word do not fit as being a believer. Right. You know, because Allah saying Quran that say that you are not a believer, but you're
say not that you believe, because you are yet to come to believe.
Everything Muslim. Yeah. Everything in creation is Muslim.
But that's part of that. But that's part of that. The twisting of the words of truth to confuse people. So people call themselves, I'm Muslim. Everything Muslim. That ant, that roach, that doo-doo. Right. Is Muslim. Because it all submits to nature. And nature is El. El is the reality of nature. Everything submits to its nature. Its nature is its Lord. Its nature is its master. El is nature. And in nature that we know as the elements of life in this world, it manifests its nature by its angels. Because El always manifests something into life with a medium between it, because no one and no thing knows El absolutely. Even the angels have mediums between them. There's no absolute knower of El except El itself. And we call it the impossible thing. Why is it impossible? Because it is the only thing of its kind. And it is all of everything. So that's impossible. It's impossible for anything to be at all places at all times. But it is at all places at all times. It's impossible. It's impossible for anything to be it, to be what it is and to do what it does. Because nothing in life except for it has power, real power. And what we have of power in our language of having something in power is really a talent, a gift that it manifests from its attribute of power. As it acts in you like you are a puppet on a string. It acts in you and causes you to be, and you because of its impossible way of making you believe that you're independent of it. To not give you the ability to connect your mind to find the truth of yourself, but to believe that your elusive, self-deceiving being is the reality and the ultimate of you. You know, it does all these things, giving us life. It is the impossible being. But it's the impossible being that makes everything possible. Now, here, it is all. It is the all of life on this side of its being. It is El, the definite article. The before everything and the after everything. That's the great secret of El. People never realize or look at why it called itself El. Why the Jews, the Hebrews, called it El. Why El was so important. What are they hiding? And why in the attributes of Allah does it put the before everything? Calling itself El or Al this or As that or Ar that or Ab that. I mean,
The definite article of
the definite article of everything. You know, why is it that it do that? Because there is no real description for it. It's just the of everything. What is it? What do you want it to be? Is the this? Is the that? Huh? They say it's God. What is a God? Well, we was told a God can be anything. Anything you worship or fear. Alright. It's the God of gods. It's the ultimate God. It's the God that annihilates all gods. So, they know what that the means. It's very important to understand what comes with the. And then and it tells us it created creation and breathed life into everything for them to be. So it is the breath. It gave name to the breath. The and then it is essence, hue, like when in colors, in matter, hue, essence. You know, it is the breath and essence. The and hue. The hue. El-Ahu. Allah-Hu. See, the Muslims know too. The learned Muslims, they know the truth. Allah-Hu. And then if they really want to get technical, it is said everything was created from nothing. From no thing. From the no thing. Allah thing. And they know la is no. Allah. They know the no. So no matter how you get around it, you can't get away from it.
There was I remember there was a teaching in which there's two negative connotations in Arabic. One is la, and one is, I think it's ma. But the la was defined as being so emphatic. It actually not means just no. It means there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such
Ain't that
thing
deep?
as a God except Allah.
Is that deep?
Yeah,
and see, I don't know Arabic.
Two difference. And there's another thing, and you've always given us a lesson about the noon.
Mm-hmm.
In the Arabic, just again, you're pointing out that L, when the definite article L precedes everything. But in the Arabic language, when they're speaking, there are times when they're not speaking about, generally they'll say L means a definite article, meaning the dog, but
Mm-hmm.
not a dog.
Mm-hmm.
But in the case of when they're talking about something that's not definite, it ends in noon.
Mm-hmm.
The word
Ain't
ends
that
in
something?
noon. Yes.
That which
Yes,
is to be recognized
that was
as
to be
reality
recognized,
and power of all things, the
Yes.
ever-living
Yes.
being.
They call it the Tanween.
Yeah.
Yeah. So praise the
They call the Tanween, the Sufis call the Tanween too, the ones who they're attacking.
Yeah. The ones who they steal the
messengers of Allah from.
Right.
Yeah.
But
The messengers, the
I-
Sufis are the messengers, and they're so hateful of Allah and the messengers of Allah that they will kill them, and then they call them Sufis and say there's no room for them in Islam. They're not real. Kill them. And they know that these people are the messengers of Allah. That Allah makes His messengers out of the most spiritual beings
But it's just
among the
amazing
human
me
beings.
how they say they read the book and they go about doing these things.
Well, they read the book. They didn't say they understand the book.
Right.
Just like they say the Muslims, the Arabs had the greatest minds because they can remember the Holy Quran. But that don't mean they understand the Holy Quran. They remember the words of the Holy Quran. See? Yeah.
And the law speaks to everyone in Quran.
They don't remember the Holy Quran in the true meaning of the word remember.
Right.
To read or to again be a member of something. They don't bring it back unto themselves, but as far as the words, they throw them out like them Jews throw that Torah out.
Right. And the thing is,
You know?
Allah speaks clear to everyone in Quran, and it points out, just like it said to the children of Israel, talking to them Jews, I favored you among everyone among the book, and now your day is done. It says to the Arab, uphold or your day will be done. It says to the Christian, set up no equal with me.
Yeah.
Call upon no one but me. So Allah didn't miss anything,
Right.
but they miss it and they understand it.
Looking at that news story just comes to mind about, we talk about this time when the Christians in America have this negative feeling towards Muslims, even by describing the president of the United States as Muslim.
Yeah.
And that's already a negative connotation to their
Right.
part if he was to say that he was. But I remember the story, they were even talking about the Hindus, Hindus and the Muslims warring
They've been
over.
going for over 35,000 years, man.
Yeah, supposedly there was a court case in which they there was a
3,500
settlement.
years, excuse me, or whatever.
There was a settlement, Lord. There was a settlement over the same piece of land in which they both found as being sacred, but they were warring over. The Hindu said it was a temple, and the Muslims said. Matter of fact, they burnt down the masjid, saying that the Muslims had built a masjid on top of holy ground that they had a temple with.
Wow.
Then they ended up in the court case. So you have all these people that think that they're right going after the one when.
So you kind
So, but check this out. It ends up in a court case that's ruled by what the Christians call the people who don't believe.
you mean the Muslims? They call them kafir.
No, what the Christians call the people that don't believe.
Secular people.
No, they got this name for them.
Atheists.
No, another name, an old ancient name.
The not heathens.
It's something else, but they're disbelievers. Now they end up in their court. People who don't believe in law, people who believe in their power of being judges and people of authority.
And ain't that something that everybody of different religious factors always wind up in the courts?
Yeah, by the people who really separate them, divide and conquer them.
Politicians.
Yeah. But look at what's going on in the United States of America. See, the Caucasians have fooled the people, and the ones they fooled the most is their own. And it really got them thinking that Muslims is bad people. And the leaders, the jinn in the east, the Arabs that are equal to the politicians here, have done the same thing with the Muslims over there. Now they've misguided the Christians here, and they've misguided the Muslims there, and the people in Jerusalem have misguided the Jews there. The people out there in the Far East Asia have misguided the Hindus and the Buddhists and what have you. And everybody don't realize, none of them realize that they are worshiping the same thing. Huh? Ultimately, we all worship the same thing, because it's only one thing that really is. Everything. So no matter how you see it, you can't get away from it. They say, I worship Satan. Okay. Who is the reality of Satan? Who gives Satan its power, its mind, its life, its existence, its position? Who? Who makes Satan be continuously? No matter how deep you look, you're going to always come to hell. But because you go outside the guidelines of what else say for you to do, now you're wrong. You're on the wrong side. And you must suffer for it. But see, those on the right side, those nearest to hell, we come to recognize it as the all of all in all things. That it is the absolute reality in every essence, every particle of essence. There's nothing that is without it. Nothing can exist without it. Everything must be slave unto it. And it must make everything be for those things to be. It must do it. There's nothing else in life, in existence, that can do it. Nothing in infinity that can do it. Only it can do it. So if it's done, it must be done by it. Now, by us realizing that, we know that the ultimate, the supreme, the sublime is it. And we worship it. And we recognize it. And we respect it. And we pay homage to it. You understand? We give it its just due and respect. And it is pleased with us and appraise us high.
Lord,
got that half an hour.
With that respect, we will go from our half-hour audience and tell that half-hour audience to tune into us next week for the completion of this episode. Now, it's peace and blessings.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed and attain